It's Tuesday and it's time for Falcon Focus. Welcome to this week's edition of Falcon Focus. It's episode number 15 here in what is now the second semester, our third edition here this semester in season number 3. My name is Matt Menzel. Our focus in segment number 2, it's an all-hockey edition of Falcon Focus. We talk men's hockey in our second segment. They wrap up their regular season, their season with 3 games here this week. And Nate Eminger, the first-year Falcon assistant, he'll join us here in the hot seat. But first we talk women's hockey as they continue life here in this 2021-22 campaign, and talking with senior forward and team captain Emily Reimke. Let's start by just talking about your background in the sport of hockey, how you got involved in the sport. What's your earliest memory of playing hockey?
Oh, goodness. Okay, my earliest memory. So I grew up in a very small town in Montana, and so I learned to skate on an outdoor rink. I was just pushing a chair around at my brother's practices, and I didn't really know how to skate, but my brother's team needed an extra player, so I went up to Canada and played with them in a tournament, and I stepped on the ice for warm-ups, and I just, figured out how to skate, just like that. That's my first memory.
Well, it's funny because I read that you're from, or at least your hometown's listed as Billings, Montana. And,
Yeah.
and obviously you think Montana, hockey's not the first thing that comes to mind. Are there a lot of opportunities to play hockey in the state?
Definitely not. I grew up being the only girl on my team, my whole life, so
No kidding.
yeah.
So when you started just, being around the sport, did you instantly just gravitate toward, hey, I want to continue to play hockey?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Now, how close were you to Canada then from Montana?
So when I was younger, I was less than an hour from the border.
Okay.
And then I moved to Billings when I was about 6. So
As far as watching the sport, did you watch a lot of hockey growing up, or was it just, again, simply just playing the sport and that's what,
I just
grew your
watched.
passion?
Yeah, I just watched if my dad had it on TV, but that's about it.
Do you have a pro team that you cheer for, or a pro athlete that you watch? Anything pro hockey related?
Yeah, I like the Colorado Avalanche just because we did house teams, and that was my jersey. So
How about,
since then,
how about right now? Obviously, the Winter Olympics taking place. Do you get into that at all with the men's and women's hockey?
as much as I can. I mean, it's tough with my own schedule, but yeah, as much as I can.
Outside of hockey, did you play any other sports or any other focuses, or was hockey it?
So the two big ones growing up were hockey and rodeo for me.
Rodeo.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that background.
So I used to do all sorts of events. I would do barrels, breakaway, goat tying, pole bending, even rode a couple steers. But I basically had to decide which route I wanted to take. But yeah, and then there was cross country and softball mixed in there too.
I still got to go because I'm fascinated about the whole rodeo topic. So, how did you get involved in rodeo? Was that from the get-go, or as you got older?
A little bit older. I was about 8, I think. My mom did some barrel racing, and then I kind of got into it from her. So
And goat tying, is that what you said?
yeah.
What is that? Is it self-explanatory?
Yeah, kind of. So there's a goat staked in the middle of the arena, and you just run on your horse. You jump off, and then you run at the goat and tie it.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And you did that.
Yeah.
Was it fun?
Oh yeah, it's a good adrenaline rush for sure.
When you look at rodeo, is there one particular event that you enjoyed more than others?
Probably barrel racing, just 'cause
Okay.
that was my mom's thing, and so if I wasn't at a full-blown rodeo, we would go to a barrel race. So
This show has had it all. We've had speed skaters, rodeo. I mean, I can't wait to see what comes next. But we talk about your hockey background, and before Concordia, you played at a hockey academy. Where was this academy? How did that opportunity come about?
yeah, so it was in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I just knew that if I wanted to play at the next level, I'd have to get out of Montana and play on a women's team. So I went to Coeur d'Alene Hockey Academy. We played in the Canadian Sports School Hockey League, so I was in Canada every weekend.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I'm blown away because I guess, like I said, when you think hockey, you don't think Montana, you don't think Idaho, and yet you've gone this route, and now Canada, obviously a hotbed when it comes to hockey, getting that opportunity. Now, during your time at the academy, you were named a team's character and hardest worker on and off the ice award winner. Where does your hard work ethic come from?
Oh, definitely from just watching both my parents. Yeah, I just admired both their hard work growing up, so it comes from them.
And in high school, you were a class valedictorian. You were on the honor roll, member of the National Honors Society. Here at Concordia, you've been on the NCHA All-Academic team. How do you go about juggling just, the pressures or demands of hockey, but also the demands of your schoolwork?
My philosophy is that no matter what you have on your plate, you're going to get it done. You just have to do one thing at a time.
That's a good way of looking at it. How did you end up here at Concordia then?
So I knew I didn't want to go out east to play. So I just reached out to a bunch of coaches in the Midwest and had a phone call with Steve and then was like, how do I commit?
And your first season on the ice with Falcons, 2018-19, played in 27 games that year and added 1 goal with 4 assists. What do you remember about that first collegiate goal? And do you have the puck?
I have the puck, although I don't even have like the tape around or anything. But it was my very first game, like that wasn't an exhibition game. And for some reason, it's been like a thing of mine that I like to score right away in the season, and then it kind of dies down. So hopefully that changes this year. But yeah, it was it was kind of a fluke goal. I just put it on net from the point. And, yeah, it was in Bethel.
And it was Bethel on October 26th of 2018. Besides scoring your first goal, you had your first assist also in that game.
Yeah.
We often talk about from a athlete mindset, building that confidence. So you get that first goal, that first assist in the first game. Was that a big confidence booster for you being, hey, here's a transitional period for you, now going to the collegiate level, that, hey, I can do it. I belong here. Having a kind of performance like that in game one?
Yeah, definitely was. But then, like I said, it didn't really come a lot after that, but I worked hard, so.
And then year number 2 for you was 2019-20, 26 games, 3 goals, 7 assists. What are your memories of that second season?
My biggest memory is playing Lake Forest in the playoffs. That was huge for us. We won the first night, and then the second day, we ended up losing, and I think it was just like a buzzer beater right down to the third period. And then we played a mini game and lost that one. But for a while there, we were really feeling it. So that was a fun series.
How tough is that mini game? And for those that don't know the postseason format, as you mentioned, it's essentially a best of 2, so to speak, with a mini game. If you win the 2 games, the same team wins the same 2 games, series is over. But if they split, then you have essentially 1 period to determine who moves on in the tournament. How challenging is that mini game? And essentially you have, 20 minutes to decide your season's fate?
Yeah, and it comes right after the second game. So it's kind of like an overtime, but you just have a 20-minute game, essentially. And, I mean, if that one ends in a tie, you have another 20-minute game.
Jeez.
So.
And it's already intense. Now you have a mini game to try to, again, decide your season. 2020-21, I know we've talked with other athletes, and I want to get your opinion too, and we talk about the COVID season that was, and you ended up playing in 19 games that year. You had 8 goals, 15 assists. Before we talk about the COVID aspect of things, you were named the assistant captain last year, and we'll talk about you being a captain this year later, but what did that mean to you to get that title to be an assistant captain?
It means a lot. I mean, I just knew like my whole team had my back, and my hard work paid off.
And then as a team, talking about going through so much, such an odd season, you played a game against Trine on November 21st, and little did anybody know at that point, team would not play again until January 15th. Take us through that time period. When that game was over against Trine, did you think maybe you guys might play the week after, 2 weeks after, or did you know that it was going to be a while again before you hit the ice?
We had it planned to play like 3 or 4 weekends. So playing them, I think I think at that point we did know that our other games were going to be canceled because Maddie Chapman had her last game, and I think we knew it was going to be her last game.
And obviously, from a hockey standpoint, you guys are used to having maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks off from the beginning of December until about January. You get that little winter break, but this was more of an extended break. So, did you practice at all during that time? Was it more less hockey activity, more just isolating, staying safe, and just waiting word on when you might play again?
We practiced, but our practice had to be split in half, and we had to do social distancing, and it's hard to do with a contact sport, so we made it work.
Overall, you look at that season, the team was 10-9, playing well down the stretch, at one point winning 4 consecutive, 7 of 9 entering the postseason, winning a quarterfinal against Marion. When you look at the team's success last year, especially toward the end, what do you maybe attribute that to? What do you point at and say, this is what we were doing so well, this is why we were playing so well when it counted?
Oh boy. I just think, we had to capitalize on the opportunity that we were given. Like other teams' seasons were much worse than ours, so we were really lucky to play as many games as we did, and other schools didn't even get to play at all. So I think we really just knew that we had a good opportunity, and we took it.
As mentioned, this season you're now the team captain. How does that role change from being an assistant captain to the team captain?
I think, also I'm a senior this year, so I think that adds on to it as well. So I know everyone's looking up to me. So I would say my junior year as an assistant, I don't think it changed a whole lot. I mean, we're still all the assistants and captains. We all work together, but I don't think it changed a whole lot. Just I'm a year older and more people to look up to me.
Well, and you bring up people looking up to you, and you look at a roster like you guys have this season with 13 freshmen, a number of new faces from that of a season ago. Did that take some getting used to, getting everybody on the same page?
I think we're still getting used to it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have a really young team, and we don't have a lot of upperclassmen either. So us trying to instill in their brains like our opportunities that we have, and like this big win against Adrian, going into it, we were trying to just tell them how tough it was going to be, and I think that our reaction after that big win, they really saw how much it meant to us. So
we'll talk about that in a second. Right now, the team has 9 victories, 10 defeats, and 1 tie. 5 regular season games remaining before a conference tournament gets started. And from a player's perspective, at this point now, 20 games into the season, how would you summarize the way this season's gone?
I think that we have a lot of potential. And I think that we've had some moments where we haven't quite played at our potential, but I think we're on an upward trend here, and I have a good feeling.
Well, I think, and you make a good point, you look at that win against Adrian on Friday, and it shows one thing. This Falcon team can compete with anybody, and certainly did in the big win against the Bulldogs, 2-1. Talk about that for a second, because for the Falcons, it snapped a 14-game skid against Adrian. Adrian is a model of consistency. They're traditionally near or at the top of the NCHA standings. It was their first conference loss since the 2019-20 campaign. You had 1 assist. You had the game-winning goal. You and I talked after the game for the Falcon social media. But I guess just your thoughts on the win, what it took to knock off Adrian on Friday.
I think that we all just put in a lot of work. We practiced all week running specific systems against them. So it all just came together for us, and everyone was on point. And I'd like to see that again coming into the end of the season here.
And I think you brought it up Friday, too, and again, valid point. It seemed like the team only gained more and more confidence as the game wore on.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you fell behind 1-0 early on. You get that equalizer, and all of a sudden it just seemed like opportunities became bigger and better for the Falcons.
Yeah, definitely. As we spoke about before, I think we tied it up in the first, so then going into the second, we knew we could keep up with the team, and so it was just a lot of fun, and I'm really proud of my team and how everyone performed.
And, of course, as mentioned, you had the game-winning goal about 5 minutes or so into that second period. Defense, goaltending, able to preserve that one-goal advantage. Saturday was senior day, and you were among the six that were honored during a pregame ceremony. How special was that moment for you?
Very special. It was nice to have my parents in the same place and celebrate with my fellow seniors that have been with me for 4 years. It's insane.
Well, and then from a, stat standpoint so far this year's senior campaign, you've recorded 8 goals, 9 assists, a couple of 3-assist performances. Do you like where your game's at right now as you go into this final stretch run?
Oh, I'm never satisfied. No.
What would it take to even get somewhat satisfied?
Oh, goodness. I mean, I guess I don't like to focus on the points so much, but there's definitely the games you did your best, and I don't know if I'll ever be satisfied.
Were you anywhere near satisfied with your performance on Friday? Obviously, as a team, yes, but how about for you with the 1 assist and 1 goal?
I mean, yeah, that felt really good. And yeah, I think I played well, but I'm just more focused on everyone else and how well they did. Yeah.
Well, let's put the captain's hat on and look at the road ahead, because Friday, team will be home from the Ozaki Ice Center against Lawrence at 4 o'clock. At Lawrence on Saturday. Next Tuesday, a non-conference test against Stevens Point. And then the regular season wraps up with a couple of games up in the UP against the Finlandia Lions. Just your thoughts on the road ahead, where the Falcons are at right now and what you'd like to see out of these next 5 games of preparation for the conference tournament.
Yeah, I think that we need to string together 5 wins and then roll into playoffs. I think that, our schedule, it may seem like we have like the 2 easier teams coming up, but I think the upperclassmen are definitely going to try and let the underclassmen know that these games aren't going to be easy.
Yeah, nothing's, as you know, a given, and obviously that can work 2 ways. It could be a confidence booster or it could be demoralizing going into conference tournament play. But let's wrap things up by talking about what's next for you. As far as what's your major here at Concordia, what are your future plans once your hockey days do come to a close?
Okay, so my major is biomedical sciences, and I'm planning on applying for medical school in June. But the process takes a whole year, so I'm going to play a super season year, and get my MBA in healthcare administration.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, Emily, I appreciate your time. All the best of luck now these next couple of weeks on into the conference tournament. We'll be watching, we'll be cheering, and go Falcons.
Thanks.
That's Emily Reimke, and when we come back, our focus switches to men's hockey as they wrap up their regular season with 3 games this week, and their assistant coach, Nate Eminger, will join us here on Falcon Focus.
Since 1978, Lutheran Church Extension Fund has had the humble privilege of supporting the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod in fulfilling its mission of sharing the gospel.
Thanks to our faithful investors, we provided thousands of church workers, congregations, schools, and organizations with the resources they need to reach more people with the saving name of Christ. It's what we do.
Because our greatest joy comes from seeing LCMS Ministries and her workers thrive, we will continue to make precious resources available, both today and far into the future. It's our promise to you.
We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund.
We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund.
We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund. We want to be part of your great and exciting work.
Welcome back to this week's edition of Falcon Focus, our 15th episode here in season number 3, and being joined by first-year men's hockey assistant coach Nate Eminger as the men's hockey team wraps up their season here with 3 games, all at the Ozaki Ice Center this week, which will include a makeup against a top 15 team in the nation, Aurora, coming up on Wednesday at 1 p.m. And Coach, let's start by recapping this past weekend. The Falcons shown a lot of fight, a couple of tough losses against a much-improved Lawrence program, and we'll begin by Friday. A game up in Appleton ended up being a tough 4-3 loss in overtime. Up 1-0, down 2-1, took a 3-2 lead. Too many penalties there, giving Lawrence 7 power play opportunities. But again, the Falcons showing fight back and forth in that battle against the Vikings.
Yeah, it was definitely one of our best games we played all year. It showed a lot of heart coming back in. Like you said, being down and then getting back up. That was something we've struggled with this year. So to see that out of a young group that we have is a huge improvement for us, and definitely something to look forward to as we proceed into the future here.
And Saturday was more the same in the sense that fell behind early, and it would have been easy to say, hey, let's wave the white flag, this game's over. No, you're down 2-0, come right back, show that fight here late in the season, came back, tied the game, great battle in the third period, eventually Lawrence winning 4-3 from the Ozaki Ice Center. But again, able to create more opportunities. The offense seemed to get more comfortable as the game wore on.
Yeah, definitely this weekend, we saw a lot more goals being scored. It definitely has been a struggle this year for us. So to see us getting opportunities, generating more shots, being in the offensive zone more, it was nice to see a pleasant surprise for sure.
You're a former netminder. You look at the box score from both those games, and the one thing that jumps out to me, and you saw it live on Saturday, is Leo McGarva with assists in both games. That had to be kind of neat to see for you as a former goaltender, see the goaltender involved in the offense.
Definitely. I work with both Liam and Riley quite a bit, and our focus is to have them play the puck more often. So to have them playing the puck and trying to help our offense out is great to see.
In that game on Saturday, I thought one of the big blows, and tell me how big of a blow it was, you lost Jordan Gainey at the end of the first period, a game misconduct. Just losing that kind of talent from an offensive standpoint, that hurts, doesn't it?
Definitely. JG is one of our top centermen. Always can rely on him to go out there to win faceoffs. So to lose him and to not have him when we really need him there at the end of the period when we're making a push is definitely a big hurt.
On paper, yes, this team has 5 seniors and 3 juniors, but it's still a relatively young squad. We look up and down number of freshmen and sophomores. How have you seen the underclassmen grow this season?
Yeah, I think they've kind of started to figure out kind of what D3 hockey's about. Still have some work to do yet to try to figure out the game, especially on a discipline level, as penalties has been a big downfall for us this year. But they've definitely grown. We're starting to see them producing points, and that's a huge benefit, especially for us being a young team.
And as far as some of those younger players go, we mentioned Gainey. He so far has 5 goals, 8 assists. You have freshman Joshua Main, 4 goals with 6 helpers, and then Tyler Pang, a sophomore, 4 goals and 1 assist. Now, as far as some of the veterans, I want to get your thoughts on some of their play. And we'll start with defenseman Corey Dennis, who not only has he been strong defensively, but offensively leads his team with 9 goals and 15 points.
Yeah, Corey's been he's been one of our solid guys back at the blue line. I do believe he's actually leading the conference in defensive goals this season, so he's definitely taken a step up to try to help us get as much success as we can get this season.
One of the forwards that caught my eye, blessed with great speed, is Alex Way. 5 goals, a team best, 9 assists. Your thoughts on Way's play?
Yeah, Wazer always seems to find the net. He slips through guys, makes a lot of shifty moves there. So to see him getting back healthy here towards the end of the season and point producing for us has been huge.
And another guy that jumps out, and certainly did this past weekend, defenseman Salvatore Scalise, a transfer at one point from Marion. What's caught your eye maybe about his play?
Yeah, he's definitely our most solid defenseman. Plays both ways very, very well. Takes the body every single time. He's one of those guys in the locker room that, he just gels with everybody. Him being probably the oldest guy in the room, he gets maybe a lot of jokes from that, but the guys love him. He's been great on the ice for us since coming from Marion.
Now, when you look at the way the season's played out, certainly some tough results along the way. Team is right there, and maybe a tough period here and there that does the Falcons in. How would you go about maybe summarizing the season to date? And when you look at some of these close losses, in your opinion, what needs to change, or what would help in getting over the hump and getting some of these games in the win column?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is we just had a couple slumps in there. 5-7 minutes of we just didn't decide to play to our top ability. Being able to work on just the finer details of getting the puck out of the zone a little bit quicker, trying to generate more shots instead of looking for that pass first. Just little different details like that is really the difference between us winning and losing right now, and having the chances to see what we're capable of. We had close games with top opponents with Stevens Point where we did everything correctly, and then the next day we're maybe a different team. So it's just that consistency issue we're dealing with.
Of course, that's a Stevens Point team, national champions a couple years back, number 10 right now in the entire nation. And you look at the NCHA as a whole, too, I think, being a younger team, it only benefits when you look at your conference schedule. I mean, you right now have, 3 teams that are top 15 in the nation. This is a quality conference for hockey.
Yeah, it is one of the toughest for sure. Maybe, in my opinion, the toughest in all of Division III hockey. We got those 3 teams. You have schools like Tryon that are having a phenomenal year and right there with. So every single night we know it's going to be a battle.
Now for you, as mentioned, this is your first season as the Falcon assistant men's hockey coach, but this is your alma mater, and you got involved, with the ACHA team and as the goaltender. But when you think back to your hockey background, what's your first, experiences or memories of playing the sport? How did you get involved in hockey?
I grew up in northern Minnesota, so
there you go.
pretty much right there. As soon as you're a little guy, they put skates on you right away. So just being little and being inside the cold right away, it's always natural.
And then you eventually came to Concordia now on down the road. And what made Concordia a good fit for you in the ACHA hockey?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to come here. I ended up playing 3 years with the NCAA program, had double hip surgery going into my senior year, and decided to make the step down and to continue playing as best as I could. But Concordia was the right fit. The campus is great. At the time, it was closer to home than other schools, maybe out east that I could have went to. But it just is a great fit overall and a beautiful campus. When
you think back to your playing days with the Falcons, what highlights stand out?
Oh, boy, there's so many of them. I think the biggest thing for me with being around the team, all the guys that you're around on a daily basis from everywhere, from Canada to the East Coast, all the guys that choose to come here and spend their 4 years here, it's unbelievable.
What's the toughest part, in your opinion, of playing the goaltender position?
It's the mindset. It's seeing so many shots at a time, making sure you're always mentally prepared, going in and out of different games. Maybe you're not starting a game, but you got to go in cold. That's extremely difficult to do. So to have the right mindset and be mentally prepared is the biggest aspect.
How challenging is it when you have so much congestion just outside the crease in front of you? You're getting blocked, just trying to see that puck, and you got to, that quick second to react. How difficult can that be? Just seeing the puck at times.
It is extremely difficult. Trying to look through traffic. You got guys in front of you that are 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", and they're not easy to move, so it's definitely a difficult task.
Once your playing days wrapped up, did you always kind of have the thought that maybe you wanted to stay involved in the sport? Coaching maybe would be a route you would go?
Yeah, I kind of envisioned it at a point. I got involved with youth hockey, and then I was very fortunate enough to get into junior hockey right out of college here. Definitely I think in my path it came quicker for me to get to the collegiate level, which I'm extremely fortunate to have in front of me and excited for where the future can bring it to.
Well, you brought up the junior hockey with the Milwaukee Power. They play their home games at the Ozaki Ice Center. You're the head coach and assistant GM. How did that opportunity present itself?
It honestly was just luck of just being in the right place at the right time. Being in Milwaukee, Milwaukee needed a new head coach, so I was able to kind of step in place there through an assistant first, being promoted mid-season. And like I said, just being in the right place at the right time and consistently making sure all the work's done to try to get the best product on the ice.
What did you learn from that opportunity? How did you grow as a coach with that opportunity?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part for me, being able to grow there, and obviously not having a ton of coaching experience right out of college. Jumping into that, kind of learned quickly on how I want to be as a coach, thinking back to all the different coaches that I've had and what was good, what was bad. So definitely being able to take that and bring it in there and be more of a players type coach where I can connect with them being of a younger age.
What made this then a great opportunity for you? What made it an attractive opportunity for you when you came on board this past summer?
Yeah, for me, it's always been a goal of mine to come back to Concordia, hopefully help the hockey program here keep growing and get to where we all envision it to be. So just being close to here, being close to home and coming back home realistically as an alum, it was very special to do.
You kind of touched on it, but is there a big, benefit, is there an advantage to being a younger guy, almost the same age as some of these players, be able to relate? I mean, you're not that far removed from your playing career, being able to relate to the guys of today.
Yeah, I think that's a huge aspect. It's funny enough, I actually talk about some of the classes that these guys are in. I hear them talking about it, and I'll pipe in and talk about it because I may have had the same professor. But being able to connect with them is huge, and especially in today's sports world, players really need that connection value, and being able to be there and have somebody to talk to, I think, is huge.
For you, at least as right now, obviously you're happy where you're at. Big picture down the road, is head coaching at the collegiate level the ultimate goal?
I want to get there someday. Obviously experience is most important for me. Being able to learn what Coach Horton has and what he's able to do, and what I can pick up and move forward with. That's going to be the end goal, and hopefully it is a head coach position somewhere.
Putting your coaching hat on now as we take a look at this week. As mentioned, the team will be in action on Wednesday, a makeup game from January 15th at the Ozaki Ice Center at 1 o'clock. Dropping to the puck against 14th-ranked Aurora. You guys just saw the Spartans about a week or two ago. Your thoughts on that matchup facing the Spartans team that right now sits in fourth place in the NCHA?
Yeah, Aurora is a very, very good team. They're a very old team. They have a lot of fifth-year guys that chose to return. So they're going to be a good challenge for us on Wednesday. Maybe the benefit of them having to get up early and travel here. But definitely they're going to be a quick team. They're going to move the puck very, very quick. They got solid goaltender with Boyko between the pipes. So, we just have to focus on doing our simple things, knowing that, we just got to continue to push through, get as many shots as we can on net, and do what we can to find our success.
And obviously taking it one game at a time, but then this weekend the season wraps up with games on Friday and Saturday. Friday at 7 p.m., Saturday at 4 p.m. Again, a couple of home dates against Finlandia, and that's a team got to watch out for. They're eager to get in the win column.
Yeah, we always know that they're a team that's always going for 60 minutes. They've kind of had that tendency to be in the same spot every single year. So we know they're going to come in hungry, looking for 6 points out of us to maybe even jump us in the standings, But we know what we're getting out of them. We know what we need to do to find our game back, and we just got to control them. And like I said before, we got to make sure we're taking a ton of shots on net.
To wrap it all up, I'm just curious to get your thoughts because you've seen these teams live. The Harris Cup playoffs around the corner. You got that battle with Adrian, St. Norbert, 1 and 5 respectively in the national rankings. What makes those teams so tough, and how do you kind of see things playing out as far as those two go?
Yeah, both teams, they're always consistently always one of the best, right? And, Adrian and St. Norbert, they're both very different programs. Adrian's more of a in-your-face type team where they're going to, check you consistently, where St. Norbert has a lot of skill, but they'll also play very heavy on you. So I myself am very interested what's going to happen, especially this weekend with both of them. But I think Adrian is the top team right now. I think if they pull off a sweep, I think they have a very high chance of getting a national championship this year.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time. All the best this weekend and going forward, and appreciate your time here on Falcon Focus.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And again, you can see the men's hockey team in person. 3 more games here on home ice this week, starting Wednesday at 1 o'clock versus Aurora, and then again Friday and Saturday, Finlandia in town for 7 o'clock and 4 o'clock starts. That's been a all-hockey edition of Falcon Focus. We'll do it again next week right here on the Falcon Athletic Network.